There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Every time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Children, what's that sound?
Hello, my name's Dennis Williams. I'm the director of UAW Region 4. I'm here to introduce the celebration of our 15th anniversary for the Veterans Conference. Back in 1988, when I was the chairman of the bargaining committee for UAW Local 806, I was sitting in the clubhouse after a conference, or before a conference, and Bob Flores came up and talked to me and asked me if I would meet him out by the oak tree to try to get a veterans conference started. He said that some of the veterans in our region wanted to start this veterans group, and they wanted to talk to Director Bill Stewart and see if we could get his support. I told Bob, yes, I would. And I said, by the way, I'm a veteran myself. So I met Bob at the time that he asked, along with between 30 and 35 other people out underneath the oak tree in front of the clubhouse. And Bob and a couple other people started talking to Bill Stewart about this veterans conference. Bill said that if you got a committee together, put some bylaws together, he would certainly consider it, and he did, and the Veterans Committee began. I'm a veteran myself. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 1972 to 1975. I was in the 3rd Tank Battalion, 3rd Marine Division. I was attached to the USS Juno, which was a battalion that was a fast deployment group. We went to hot zones, which is the area of Vietnam, Cambodia. When Cambodia took the Mayaguez, and the coup attempt against Marcos in the Philippines. But probably the best thing that ever happened to me in the Marine Corps was I met my wife, and we got married. My son is currently serving in the Enduring Freedom. He was recalled. He was also a Marine. And I have another son who's a UAW member at 1866. In 1988, I went on staff in organizing, so I had not seen what the veterans had done in the region. In 1995, I became the assistant director under Director Paul Corman. I came back for my first time to see the Veterans Conference, and I was amazed at what they had done. It had grown to 150 strong, and I seen that the women became a round table as a support group, and it was doing wonderful things. I believe that this Veterans Conference is really the best in the UAW, and I believe there's better things to come. After all, it was the UAW that gave us this opportunity. On behalf of the entire Executive Board and President Ron Gelfinger, we want to say to you, all of you, congratulations and keep up the good work and great job. Semper Fi.
How you doing? My name is Robert Flores, and I'm here to give you a little history on how we started the Veterans Committee and conferences, Region 4. I come from local UAW Local 551, south side of Chicago, the Chicago Assembly Plant. Anyway, back in 1986, at the International Conference, it was passed that we start and have a standing committee for veterans at every local. We had been fighting for almost 3 years to get this committee approved through the International. We finally got word in 1986 that they had authorized all locals to have a standing committee. Therefore, in the summer of '86, during the Civil Rights Conference, myself, Les Baskey, Ralph Pauley, and I'm not sure who the Sergeant at Arms was at the time. But anyway, we got together and we started talking after lunch by the oak tree there that used to be by the playground, right outside the main building in Ottawa. And we brought up the suggestion to go around the dinner table and ask all veterans to join us outside and get Bill Stewart to come out there and discuss about having a veterans conference and how to get one started. Well, not only did the veterans come out, but the whole delegation came out in support. Bill Stewart then advised us to go back to our locals and write letters from the locals to have a veterans conference. Well, we all went home, did our homework, started signing people up for committees, and that was our first step to get our conference started in 1987. We had our first conference. Okay, getting back to my history though, when I was 19 years old and still living at home, I'm the oldest out of 11, and my decision then was to go into the armed forces when I got drafted. There was a lot of draft dodging going on, a lot of people burning the draft cards, and I wanted to show my community that I was a true patriot, that I stood behind the red, white, and blue. So when I finally got my draft notice, I was 19 years old, and I enlisted in the Marine Corps instead, because I figured if I'm going to Nam, I want to get all the training I can get. So I went to boot camp in San Diego, California. From there I went on to BITS, Battalion Infantry Training, and ITR at Camp Pendleton. From there I was chosen and requested to be in Special Forces Recon, Marine Corps. I was sent from there to Fort Benning, Georgia. Now mind you, I was trying to avoid going in the Army, and I wind up in Fort Benning, Georgia for jump school, Ranger training. After I completed that course, then they sent me to Pensacola for demolitions. Finally, I get to come home on my first sleep, and this was prior to being sent into country. I reported into country in August of 1970, and I was attached to the 1st Recon Battalion, I Corps. We were set out in 5-man teams. All we did was reconnaissance. Basically, our missions were two. One of them, Operation Deep Pearl. We worked with S3 Intelligence looking for POW camps. The other was Operation Tailhook, looking for deserters. We had orders to shoot any deserter that we found on site. And we thank God that we never found any deserters. But at the same time, we didn't find any POWs. Every time we came upon a POW camp, they were empty. The embers on the campfires were still warm, but it seemed like they knew we were coming. So once we got through with that, they sent us on patrol up the Quezon from Quang Tri. That's where I first got my first wound. We were crossing a rice paddy. One of my guys had stepped on a landmine, and I went up, being a squad leader, defused the mine, got his foot off the mine, and I told him, I said, look, when I tackle you, I want you to pull your feet back, towards your back. And we both got wounds, but at least we didn't lose any limbs. That was my first Purple Heart and Bronze Star. Then we went up to the Highlands, Central Highlands, and I had been in country already for 18 months. I was into my second tour. One of my guys had gotten hit because we moved during the night. One of my guys had gotten hit, so we called him for a medevac. Chopper came in and picked him up. All of a sudden we started getting hit with mortars. They started throwing everything at us, not just small arm fire. So I told JB, my first team leader, I said, get him on the chopper. We got him aboard. That's when the chopper got hit on the tail rotor. All of a sudden, the chopper started going up. I jumped in and got the pilot out, got the co-pilot out. When I was going for the gunner, all I remember is jumping up on the platform to pull him out and flip him backwards in slow motion. That was the one that brought me home. During that time, my dad had died in 71. This happened on 22nd of June of 72. And by that time, my mom had gotten a letter and a visit from the Marine Corps stating that I had died in combat. So it was hard for me. When they sent me to Hawaii for rehab, I was there for 30 days. I have a partial plastic stomach because of that. And when I called home to talk to my mother, she was in tears, and she hung up on me about 3 times, telling me that was a cruel joke, that her son had died in Vietnam. Finally, I started telling her things about my childhood. Then she realized that it was me. From there, I got stationed at Great Lakes for 4 months. It was near home. And finally, after those 3 months, I got sent to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, where I rejoined the recon team again. And I got out in 1974 after a 4-year term. Once getting out, I had my job waiting for me because I had gone in and I had been at this